Oh my goodness. My hair looks crazy. Anyway, welcome back to my Prokopis Planner series here on YouTube. You can also find this series on my Instagram, where I post the actual pictures of my goals for the month, how I did, and all the fun tallies on paper. You can also find a write-up where I explain more in depth how I set those goals on my website, amyprokopis.com. So if you have watched my previous video for January, you kind of know how this goes. January was a mess. And I can say with total confidence, thank goodness, that February went really, really well. Not just really, really well, I actually accomplished most of my goals and then some. Yes. So let's get into it. So reading this month went pretty well. I would say probably just as well as last month. I read 3 books. The first one was Apples Never Fall by Lane Moriarty. That was a really, really good one. I hadn't read anything that she's written before, but she's very well known. A couple of her books are TV series, I think, now. But this one was great. So it followed a family. There are the 4 siblings. Their mom goes missing, and they all have kind of reasons to suspect it was their father's doing. And throughout the book, you hear the background information. So all of them interacting with their parents. We also get flashbacks to the past with the mom, where she explains things that have happened up to that point. So dad is the suspect. The only other possible suspect is a woman who showed up on their doorstep at the parents' house, and they took her in because she needed a place to stay for a little while. And she has also since gone missing. So the book follows all of the siblings trying to piece together what happened. And the ending of the book, while it wasn't necessarily my favorite ending, it was not at all what I expected it to be. So it was kind of a fun ride. I also read Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I've never read a Colleen Hoover book. She gets a whole lot of hype online though, and she's got lots of different books. Romance is not typically not a series. I don't typically read a lot of romance books. I read lots of books with romance in them, in the plots, especially in fantasy and sci-fi, but I don't read books that are where romance is the theme. But that's what this one is, Reminders of Him. So there's a girl or a young woman. She has just gotten out of prison where she was sentenced for 5 years because in her past, she drove drunk with her boyfriend and accidentally killed the boyfriend, and she walked away. So she was sentenced to 5 years. In those 5 years, she gave birth to a little girl, and the little girl was passed over to her boyfriend's parents. So now that she's out and she's come back home, she knows that the little girl lives there with her mother and father-in-law, essentially. Well, they weren't married, but boyfriend's parents. And she really wants to get to know the daughter. The grandparents don't really want her around. And along the way, she meets a man who's working as a bartender, and they connect. And for a long time, he doesn't realize who she is, and she doesn't realize who he is. And then they finally connect the two. And he was her boyfriend's best friend growing up. And he finds out that she's the reason he's no longer with them. So the whole question in the book is, will she ever get to meet her daughter? Will she be allowed to meet her daughter? Will this relationship between the two of them blossom at all? Or is it going to fall? Because he's also very involved in her daughter's life because he's a next door neighbor to the family. So that's the big question. And it's not my usual genre, but I thought it was really cute. It was a really quick read. It was fun. I enjoyed it. and I might pick up another Colleen Hoover book in the future because there are a couple other ones out there that also have a lot of hype that sound like they might be a little bit more my thing than this one was. So I think I'll pick one up soon. I also read Can't Even: How Millennials Became the Burnout Generation by Anne Helen Peterson. Now this book, I purchased it on Audible like almost a year ago, but I've have been going through such periods of stress with work in general that I didn't want to read it and then feel like it was a downer, because that's what it is. It's all about burnout, and I go through burnout pretty often at work. So, and I was going through burnout again last month, in February for this month, and I decided I don't have anything else lined up to read. It's been sitting in my Audible library for a while. Let's just try out the first chapter and get an idea if I'm going to feel like I'm being heard and I'm going to connect in that way, or I'm going to feel like more burnout than I was. So I read it. I agreed with everything that was expressed in that book. If you like psychology and sociology, you will really like this book, because it's not just going into like the way millennials feel and here's what we see online, here's what's being reported. It goes through history. So it's not just us. It has almost more to do with the last couple generations and historical events that have happened, like 9/11, for instance, and the economy, particularly through like the early 2000s, 2008. So there are a lot of things that she expresses in the book from a society standpoint that explain why so many people of my generation, millennials, and even now Gen X, that are going into the work world, why so many of us feel so exhausted all the time, and like all we ever do is work. And it was really enlightening to me, and I connected with it a lot because I have a day job. There's one. I'm a mom of a toddler, so he's always somewhere in the mix. He's actually in the other room right now. I try to run, and I've made that strictly just a hobby, because something she pointed out in the book is that a lot of millennials in the work world, they don't take leisure time. They turn everything into their job. So I thought that was a really good one. Speaking of somebody from the other room, can you say hi? Say hi. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Say bye-bye. Bye. All right, writing. Now that little guy from the other room has a snack. Writing did go really well. I've got a lot of writing done. I did not meet my goal of finishing my first draft of the next book I'll publish. I didn't get the first draft finished, but I got the entire thing planned out, like scene for scene. I just need to sit down and put it all on paper. I haven't had time to do that because, similarly to as I was explaining with like Can't Even, the book, my day job has been very, very, very busy, and it has occupied a lot of my time. And there have been so many nights, which is when I typically write, evenings and weekends. There have been so many nights I've come home with such little energy that getting a really solid writing session in the books has been kind of hard. I'll sit down, I'll be able to write for maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, depending on the night. And stuff just doesn't come about because there's too many other distractions and things that I have to get done for like the next day, or just distractions around my house that don't typically affect me as much. So writing kind of happened. I've got the book planned out. So there's that. At least on the draft I'm working on for my next book, which I'll announce maybe in another month. We'll see. But for the arena, all of that has gone really well. So I actually got back not even the first look. I got the final cover design finished today. So, if you follow my Instagram, you may have seen that I'm revealing the cover March 6th. So next Sunday. So go follow my Instagram. All of that information is in the description. Go follow my Instagram there, and I will reveal what the official cover for the arena will be on the 6th. So I'm so excited about that. So cover the 6th. There will probably be a few more events in between, and then the final book, the arena, comes out, actually published for people to go out and get on the 28th. I cannot believe it's happening. I have 1 month left. 1 month. Oh my gosh. Running has gone really well. So my goal for February for running was to run a minimum of at least 2 times a week. And I've been able to run minus, I think, 1 week, all 4 times that I schedule for myself. So I try to run the best I can do with the schedule that I have in my life is 4 times a week. I would love to be somebody that could run at least like 6 and take a rest day. But for me, to be able to do that and still get everything done, 4 is really good. It maintains my fitness and I can see improvement. So I run 4 days a week, and I did that the entire month. So I exceeded my goal. And get this, I have a goal for this year of not only running a marathon finally, but I want to be a stronger runner. So what that means for me is, rather than just running and getting faster and building up my stamina, I want to incorporate strength training on a weekly basis so that I can come out faster in that sense, because I'm building muscle and it'll help me get to the finish line without feeling so fatigued. So last Sunday, I have been kind of dabbling, trying to put at least 2 or 3 strength training sessions along with that minimum of 2 runs a week. So I've been trying to do that as well. And last Sunday, I started the Chloe Ting, her 2-week shred, the one from this last calendar year. So 2019, I think, or 2020, one of those. But I started that on Sunday. I am 1 week in as of today, and I will be posting my update with that challenge. I don't believe on Instagram. It'll be on my TikTok. So TikTok's also linked in the bottom if you want to see how that challenge goes for me, and anything else fitness and strength training wise, it'll be there. So I was able to get started on that, and I can already see a big difference just getting into like a specific program and more of a routine. So that is something that I'm incorporating into my running goal for March. But for February, I did so much more than what I had planned to for my running goal. So I feel like so good. Overall, mileage wise, I ran a total of about 18 miles this month, which is still fairly low for me, but it's getting closer to what's normal and for me on the low end. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm building up a whole lot more skill. I'm starting to feel really like comfortable in my runs again, which means that I'm like improving a lot and I'm growing. So as I add more mileage, I should only feel better. So that's been great. Yeah. So overall in the month of February, I would say I did a really great job with my goals. So I ran the 18 miles. I exceeded my running goal. My running goal, the only goal I set for this month was to run at least 2 miles a week, not 2 miles, at least run twice a week. And what I actually did was I ran 4 times a week, and I did strength conditioning, and then jumped into a like strength training program. So running was by far the thing I did the best in February. Next was writing. My writing goal for the month, again, was to finish the first draft of the book I'm working on that I will publish next. I did not finish the draft, but I got the entire thing plotted out to get to the end. I just have to sit down and type it out. And I've already made notes along the way of things I need to go in and adjust for the second draft, for draft 2. So while I didn't get it finished, I feel like I got like a larger scope than if I would have just sat down and just started like typing away and gotten to the end. I think I'm going to get a better draft out of it, even though I've moved a little bit slower. And reading. I read 3 books. They were really good. And it would have been 4, but right now the book I'm reading, Ace of Spades, that book, I still have a little bit left on it to finish. And before I talked about it here in my videos and posted about it, I wanted to finish it because I have no idea how it's going to end. And I'm really excited to find out. So if you're curious about Ace of Spades, that will be in the March video. So make sure you're coming back and finding out what I thought about it. But that's how February went. So that's how February was. It was awesome. Going into March, I have kind of an idea, the goals I want to set. I for sure will finish that draft 1 of the next book. So I'm not going to make it a goal for the month. I'm going to set something else as a goal for the month for writing, probably related to the arena since it's getting published. There will probably be a little bit more like promotional stuff I include with that. So that's probably where my goals for writing will be. My running goal, I set a goal already of at least doing 3 strength training sessions per week. So that's the new goal. I'm trying to make that a habit in my running routine. That way I can become a stronger runner, just like my overall goal is for running this year. And reading, I don't really set reading goals. In my mind, I try to read at least 3 books a month. I try to read 1 a week if I can do it. But I usually get about 3 a month, and that keeps me on track with my Goodreads goal, which is to read 50 for the year. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to talk about more books. Send me recommendations because I'm starting to run out of books on my TBR, my to be read list. So send me anything that you might like some opinions on or want to talk about, or a book you think I might like based on maybe the last couple I've read. So I'd love to hear from you. Leave me comments down below. You can connect with me on TikTok and Instagram. I am most active on my Instagram, so you can check out there and keep up with my website. You can read the first chapter of The Arena there for free. So go read the first chapter there, and then you can buy the book when it is out next month on the 28th. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next month.